Thanks for joining us for This Week in Jacksonville Business Edition. You see the sign, Isabela's, and this is Isabela's Bar Cuba. This business, more than 40 years old, family owned, and today our podcast is with the owner, Isabela Alonzo. I thought you'd be interested in hearing her perspective. She's Cuban, she came here, she's living the dream, she says.
Isabela, I see this magazine over here. It says Cigar Snob. I think you're cigar royalty. But I really wanted to talk to you about just your business. I think that goes back to even your childhood. So you're from Cuba.
Oh my God, yes.
And tell me about how you grew up.
I've been doing business all my life. When I was about 7 years old, I decided that I needed to make a little bit of money. So in the neighborhood we were living were little kids like 3, 4 years old. So after I finished school, I go and I have little chairs, and I'm teaching those little kids how to read in numbers. And the mother will pay me 20 cents, 25 cents, 20 cents a week.
So you could tutor them. You're teaching them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
First job.
That was my first business job.
I like it. Your first business at 7.
But then after about 9, 10, I told my brothers, let's make some business. Let's make some money. So I got peanuts, like a 5 cents, give you a bunch of peanuts. And then I roasted them, and I made the little cucuruchos, they call cucuruchitos. They made a big song about that particular, they call it manicero. And I put them in a little basket, and my 2 brothers, younger than me, they will go and sell it. And I said, go by the park, go by the theater, because there's a lot of people there. So they go and run and get it and sell it, and they come back with it's all gone, and we need more. So I make more, and they go. The reason I didn't go because the girls would not do that. In my culture, no, a little girl would not do that. So then every night when they bring the money, I said, okay, this is your money, this is yours, this is mine, okay? Now we take from here, and from here, and that we buy more. And whatever is left, that's for you to keep.
Yeah.
That was my second business.
I like it. So early on, you are an entrepreneur. Yeah. Tell me about maybe growing up and how that connects to cigars or tobacco. You said it was.
Well, my mother in Cuba is called like the cottage industry. In the house, they bring the tobacco, like a big sack, the leaf, and then you have to take the stem out because they cannot roll the tobacco with the stem. So you put the leaf and you take the stem. And you don't throw nothing away. The stem goes in one basket, and the little pieces, whatever you are left, and sometimes you messed up, go in another basket.
And then you have the rest of the leaf.
Yeah, and then the guy come in at night, pick this up, give you a little paper, you write it, and then the next day, do the same thing. And then you get paid every week.
And this is, your mom did this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, she made cigar. I mean, she rolled cigar like not sitting down. I mean, I saw her throwing cigar, carrying my brother and making a cigar.
So brother in one hand,
Yeah.
rolling cigars in the other?
Yeah.
What was life like before you came?
In Cuba?
Yeah.
Well, in Cuba, in 1959, the Castro took over, and everything started changing. And then my father had a small little business, fish business, and he lost it. They took it.
So many people went through that. When
Yeah, they
Castro
took
over.
they took my father. A small little business, but that's where we're making a living, and so they took it. He got really sick because he lost. That's all he had. And then I got married in 1960. My husband liked the revolution, and then I didn't. So I knew it was not good. So I kicked him out of the house.
Because he was for the revolution?
He wanted me to be part of it, and I said, I'm not. I'm not. And I said, so you need to go. So he went to his mother, and then after, he sent me the divorce papers, and then I signed the first one. And after a while, I guess he started changing. He see things that he didn't believe in. And then they moved back together. And he has a cousin that lived in Cuba and left Cuba live in Miami. And so he asked the paper for us to come.
Yeah. So you first...
We came legal.
You first came to Miami?
Yes. We came to the Opa-locka air base.
Wow.
And from there...
That had to be difficult.
Yes. From there, the base is wonderful. I mean, when you come in, they'll go and they have like a hospital, and they check you to see you don't have any disease, things like that. And then we came, I asked a guy for a dime because I didn't have any, we had no money, we had nothing, only the clothes. Only the clothes. And so we found his cousin found us, and we went. But in Miami at the time was not a lot of work because so many of us was coming. There was not enough work. But my father-in-law had it's like a son that he picked. It was not blood, but he helped him. And he wanted to go to college in Washington, D.C., so he sent him to Washington for college. And he came to Cuba in 1961, and he said, no, 1960, he said, I'm not coming back here because this is communism. But if any of us, want to come, I help him. So we called him, and we went to Chicago.
So you went to Chicago?
Yeah.
From Miami, you went to Chicago because your father-in-law.
Yeah. And in Chicago, I started working immediately. And the second day in Chicago, I found a job in a shoe factory. The Florsheim shoes.
Florsheim, okay.
So, but I never been in a factory before. I never didn't speak the language, very little, So they asked me to. They gave me a job putting glue on the
sole. Is that right?
I put glue everywhere but the sole. And the people behind me, around me, they were all a lot of Polish, black, all kind of races. And they were jumping up and down, and I didn't know what they were jumping because it was because of me. And so they had to stop electricity, the whole line, for me to stop. Because that was my job. I was doing my job.
You were doing your job too well. Glue
Then the big boss came in and put his hand and said, I remember this, he said, Isabela, I don't like Castro. So I knew then that he was not going to fire me, that he would give me another job, and he did.
Wow.
When did you come to St. Augustine and then start the business here?
After a while, I started a little business. My first business in the United States was I bought a little dry cleaning. I didn't have the money to buy it. But before that, I started working. I want to be working at night. I go to downtown Chicago, and I see this beautiful building. I had no idea what it was. And I said, oh, I want to work there. So I went inside and asked for an application, and the lady said, I said, no, you need to help me to fill it because, so I put him on the spot, so she had to help me. Well, I said to my husband, I have a job. He said, where? I said, it's a beautiful building in downtown. He said, they're going to call me. He said, how are they going to call you? We don't have phone. I said, well, don't worry, they'll find me. So anyway, to make a long story, they did call me, they did send me a letter. And said, well, you have to go to the police station to get your fingerprint. And then you have to go and examine your lungs and things like that. So my husband took me. And I started working. And then they gave me a thing, and, you know, and I didn't know what it was. And I started working in the cafeteria. And one day I asked one of the ladies, it was a Polish lady, I said, what do they do here? Because it's so like a mystery, everything. He said, you don't know what they do here? I said, no, I just like the building, I asked for a job. He said, this is the mint, where they make the money. I said, oh.
Wow, the U.S. Mint. How about that? That's why that building looks so nice. Yeah. Huh?
So I stayed there for about 6 months, and I really got bored and didn't want it. So I go on again to downtown, and I go to City Hall. Mayor Daley was there that time. And I said, oh, I'd like to work. You know, I would like to be a teacher's aide. Oh, so I applied, and I told my husband the same thing. Anyway, finally they called me. I'm making a story short. They said, you have to go to this school for a test. So he took me. I went to the school for a test, and there was a big table, a lot of people not smiling, just very serious. And they asked me a lot of, to me, it was like a silly question, but a question is a question. So they said, okay, and they write it down. And I said, okay, and I said, goodbye, and I go. So after they sent me the amount that I got, and I had 85 points, and they put a note. It said, you didn't get the 100 because the language, the English. I would have gotten 100. So I started working there. About maybe 4 or 5 months, I got bored. Then it was not for me. In the meantime that I was working there, I have met a guy, a Cuban, older guy, and I said, I want to sell gold. So I didn't have money. He said, well, you know, I'm going to help you. I'll give you a little bit of gold, you sell it, you pay me by week. So I did that. So in my time, when I was not in the, you know, not a school time, I put my gold in a brown paper bag, so people think it's food, you know, like my lunch.
Yeah.
And I go door to door, and I show my gold, and I sell. And then one of the teachers was, her name is Mrs. Levy. At the time, I didn't recognize names. She was Jewish. So one day, the principal called me, said, you need, send the concierge, he said, I want to see you in the office. And everybody, the principal said, there's people like, so I go to the office, I said, Mrs. Snyder, I hear you want to see me. He said, yes, I want to see you. I heard you selling gold to Mrs. Levy. I said, yes, I am. She said, I said, but I do it only on my time when I finish. Not, she said, no, that's not what I bring you here. I bring you here because I want to know how you sell jewelry to Mrs. Levy. I said, very simple. I got my jewelry, my gold, I show it to her, she pick what she likes, and she buys it and she pays me. He said, no, the reason is Mrs. Levy's husband had the biggest jewelry store in Chicago. I said, well, I didn't know. I said, she liked my jewelry better.
I guess so. Maybe you're just that good a salesperson.
Maybe she want to help me, I don't know. And then after that, I went I said to my husband, no, I left the job. And then after, he said, there's a little dry cleaning for sale for $800. I said, no, I don't have $800. So I said to my husband, you go to one of those loan shark and get me $1,000.
Go to a loan shark.
And he
huh?
did.
Really?
He did. And I bought the dry cleaning, and that was it. I started the dry cleaning. It went like the soap. And in 1978, we came down here.
1978?
We bought a house. We paid $19,000 for our house. Now they give me more than $500,000.
Wow.
So then in 1983, I was doing my sewing, and I see these people, wow, they don't know how to do this here. So I started. And I got a lot of attention because I was making lace and eyelets.
So you're sewing?
Yeah, that was I learned in school. I went to school for making patterns, In Cuba, before Castro, we were very European. Everything came from Paris and Spain. Anyway, so I started like that, and I got immediately a lady from Jacksonville, Cynthia Parks. She was the Jacksonville paper. She came in and she did a story of me, and people came in, and I was one after the other. Yeah, a channel in Orlando also many.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where was your location when you were sewing here? And is this right in 78, or is this when you started in 1983 here?
83.
Okay. So tell me about the start of this business and how it's transformed.
Okay, well then I started doing really well. I bought a house. Then my daughter has a beauty salon, and then this house came in the market, and it was one down the street, but I didn't put the good offer, and I said I want this one. So I bought it in 1998, and I moved here. But at the time, I put a glass with cigar. I wanted, that's part of my heritage. So I started with a cigar, little bit. And then in the recession in 2008 was bad.
Yeah, big recession.
And then my husband started with dementia. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
So it was really
That's
bad.
Very difficult.
Yeah. And then I moved. I became totally a cigar. Yeah, we did a humidor and did the bar, and it was very successful.
Why did you decide to make that change?
Because kind of necessity. And I had to go after my husband, finding him, and the whole soul of the other soul was me. If I was not there, I was the one making everything. So in this, I had other people, working.
You don't have to make the cigars here.
Yeah,
you did that in Cuba.
Yeah,
but
I don't have to be here all the time.
Yeah.
I like to be here, and I'm here most of the time. But if I have to go, like it was terrible with my husband, I would have to close and go. And I have a feeding with a customer, and I have to start the feeding and go to find him.
Yeah. Is your husband still with us?
No,
Has he passed
left.
away?
He died about 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so the idea of your place, why do you think it's successful? Why do people want to come to Isabela's?
I think they feel relaxed here, because when the people come here, I greet them, but we don't go after them like, okay, you have to pay, because if somebody does it to me, I leave. So, and then they can smoke here, and everybody that works here, Ben, Alejandro, all of them that work here, they are, wonderful. They do the same thing, and people just love. They feel like they are in their own house, but they have no stress. No stress.
No stress. Mm-hmm. Do you have stress? This is your business,
Yeah.
but do you have stress, or are you relaxed in doing this now?
It comes from the top. If the top is like crazy, everybody will be crazy.
And you're the top.
On the top.
So you make it relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like some places you have to I'm not going to name any place, but it's a couple of places here, not anymore, but you have to throw your hat in before you get in because you don't know it's going to be kicked, you know? So here, it's not like that. They feel welcome the moment they come in here. They're coming inside.
So you started the business in 1983, but cigars just since 2008?
No, about 2010, something
Okay.
like that, yeah.
All right.
I mean, I was already changing. I was already had cigar,
Yeah.
but not like the full like that. It was not total like that.
Yeah. What makes your place different than somebody else who sells cigars in St. Augustine?
My personality.
I agree, by the way. Yes, your personality. People come to see you, right?
Yeah, which is it's good and bad, you know. But now, I mean, we have, like for example, Mike. He works on Monday. He has his own people that come to see him. Ben has his own people too, so I like that.
Yeah. How long will you still have this business? Do you want to retire? Do you want to stop working? Anything like that?
When you retire, you die.
So you're not going to do that, huh?
No, not for a while.
Yeah, I like that plan. Really indelicate question. How old are you?
I'm 83.
83. So you're born in 1942.
1941.
41.
I'm the silent generation.
You got a birthday coming up soon?
Yeah,
When?
in December.
Okay, we're having a party for you.
The
So
12th.
what day?
The 12th.
December 12th. All
What
right.
about you?
Big party coming here December 12th. All right, I'll remember that. I'm a young kid. I'm born in 1968. so-
You are the baby boomers.
Baby boomers.
Baby
boy.
boomers.
Well,
Boomers.
I wonder if you would have advice for anybody who wants to be like you, a female, a woman, a Hispanic or Cuban, and you
It
want to
doesn't-
be successful in St. Augustine. How do you do it?
It doesn't matter. I mean, you have to love what you do. Number one. If you don't love what you do, don't do it. If you're gonna go into a business hating it, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be in this business for a while to make a little bit of money," no, don't. It doesn't work like that. You have to love what you do, and people feel that. If you love it, people feel it. And don't be afraid. I'm never afraid to make any decision about money. If you're gonna go in the stock market and you're gonna buy a stock and you're gonna go lose your sleep over that, don't do it. Don't do it.
What do you love about your business here?
What do I like?
What do you love?
Everything. I love to have the people here. I love this. I love everything.
Isn't Isabela amazing? I knew you would enjoy that. I certainly was looking forward to visiting with her, hearing about her perspective as a small business owner since 1983 in St. Augustine. Thanks for joining us on This Week in Jacksonville Business Edition. Wherever you find your podcasts, go ahead and remember to like, follow, and subscribe.